What's up, guys? In this video, I want to talk about Ohio State. Because, there's been a lot of change this year from this team. Because, we all know this Buckeye team has offense, really great offense. They're, number one the past 3 years or something. And overall, they have just been great. But, this year has been a huge change. Defense, unlike usual, is playing great. They're top 5. They have number 3 in points per game, number 2 in yards per play, and then 9th in yards per game, something like that. So they're playing great, and they're a defensive-driven team this year more. Until the offense can finally click, which we've seen from several games that aren't the Notre Dame game, for example, where they should win, and in a normal year their offense explodes and their defense gives up 20. But now it's their defense gives up generally less than 10, and then when they play a good offense, it'll be Notre Dame. They gave up 14, and against Maryland in their amazing passing game, they gave up 17. But Ohio State's offense, like I mentioned previously, was ranked 1 in basically everything last year. Well, they're ranked 29th in yards per play, 27th in points per game. They're not even a top 25 offense this year, which sucks for Buckeye fans because these past several years, if they had an actual defense, they're winning the national championship. Last year, defense, natty. The year before, defense, natty, because they'd give up 40 points in a big game, and then they'd score 40 points in a big game. Okay, anyway, let's get past the past Ohio State team. The thing is, at the start of the season, even before that in the spring, Ryan Day said he'd be giving some play calling duties to Hartline, which is the co-offensive coordinator, but I don't see him getting any meaningful ones. And whenever it's play calling, it's Ryan Day from what I can tell. And there have been so many stupid play calls, and even back to 2019, when I watched that Clemson game in the Fiesta Bowl, he was making awful decisions sometimes, playing very conservative. And I do admit, if you're an Ohio State fan, you're saying that the refs cost y'all that game. Yes, I know there were 4 plays that were crazy, but come on, it's 3 years. We don't need to talk about that anymore. So anyway, all the way back to his first head coaching time, it seemed like he was making a bunch of bad play calls, and they not oversimplify, they overcomplicate everything. In the red zone, you just gotta, they get cute with it, and they're trying to be fancy, and it ends up not working. In Notre Dame game, it was 5 minutes left maybe, and they go for it on 4th down and 1. 4th and 1, you're kidding me. And they do a jet sweep to the outside, the weak side, the short side. So Ibuka doesn't even have the full field to run. So he ends up getting stuffed, not even getting to the line of scrimmage, I'm pretty sure. And it was just every time there's a big moment, he makes bad play calls. The Ohio State-Georgia game, he did something weird. On 3rd and 6 with 3 minutes left, he did a bad play call and ended up getting sacked 10 yards. They have to end up taking a field goal, puts them up 6. Then Georgia runs down, scores 7, and then we all know what happens. As soon as the ball goes wide left, New Year strikes. Basically, Ohio State is getting bit in the tail so many times in these big games because this play calling is just not working. Really, the thing Ohio State needs to do is just be more straightforward. They're talented than almost every team they play, besides like a game or two in the regular season where it's actually matched up. And they don't need to be so fancy with it because they don't need to really outsmart a team. They just need to out physical them, like be out tough them. Like they're just not doing that. And I don't know what their strength and conditioning coaches. I don't know what their offensive line is doing. I don't know what their defensive line is doing. Just they're not being like tough. And an Ohio State team, if they just can be tough, they're going to win basically every game that way, besides Michigan and Penn State, where they will have to actually play and make some, actually outsmart them in certain situations, but also they're like equal. You just have to not limit mistakes, play solid defense, don't give up explosive plays, which actually I have to give credit to. Ohio State is doing that. But overall, the person that's holding him back is Ryan Day. He has too much pride in play calling, and he just needs to give it to Brian Hartline because he's like already costed the team several games, and really, I think he might be the issue for the offense because there's just several dumb play calls they're putting out there, and when it doesn't work, he's like going crazy. Like if you just ran a normal play, then they'd be fine. Oh yeah, I really just wanted to talk about this Ohio State team and what's holding them back, and yeah, really, I think this team will be better off if they just don't overthink it, and I think that's Ohio State's problem, and the thing that they'll have to do to solve that problem is pass over the play calling. The offensive play calling needs to go to Hartline. Well, yeah, so that's the end of the video. What do you think about Ohio State, and do you agree with me? Because I really think this team is a good team, just to overcomplicate things and make it harder than it needs to be. But yeah, I'll be posting more about other teams. I just wanted to get into this one because after several weeks, it's still showing the same thing. And Penn State's up in 2 weeks, Michigan at the end of the season, and if they keep playing like this, they're losing both those games. And Purdue this week, trap game, and Wisconsin in like 3 weeks, they're going to have to watch out for too.